Mr. Theodis Pace. Here we are at the Juneteenth Freedom Festival in Kankakee, Illinois, Healing Stories Podcast. I am delighted to have you stop by for a few minutes and chat with us. It's good to have you here.
Hey,
Tell us
listen,
what's going on.
I want to seize the opportunity, and thanks for inviting me.
Mm-hmm. So you are you the president? Is that the title?
Well, currently I am the NAACP Illinois State Conference of branches. So we have over 30 branches throughout the state of Illinois. So not only I'm the Kankakee branch, but I'm also the state president. And you know, it's been quite busy, but the Lord have blessed me to put me in this position at this moment.
At this moment.
Yes.
This is a moment, to say the least.
It's and the right time. With it's a little easy for me because, as you know, I'm an individual that promotes relationships,
right.
and when you have relationships throughout the state and even with our state lawmakers, it makes things easier. Even though when you don't agree, but you have the respect of each other.
Right.
So that's the key.
Yeah. So right now you're sitting in the Grow Center tent. This is our community center over in Bourbonnais, and our whole tagline is about collaborative relationships.
That's right.
It's how we believe you cultivate peace. Is you got to have the relationship first, right? And
absolutely.
So, yes, I agree with that, and it does make it easier. And I know that you have worked really hard to cultivate relationships.
Well, here's the key. As you just stated, here we are celebrating the 2026 Juneteenth celebration. And if we go back to 1863, 1865,
right,
where basically we're having some of the same parallels of keeping individuals uninformed.
Yes.
And so you have to figure, here you had a group of people in Texas that 2 years behind the time of being knowledgeable that they are free.
Right.
So here we are in 2026. We want to ban the books.
Yep.
No more DEI.
No more DEI.
And that brings back collaboration, partnership, and the culture piece.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the things that well, not that I've tried, but I think I've accomplished in some phases since I arrived here in 1973, that if we don't understand each other and our respective culture, and it's simply, let's just use, it might sound crazy here, let's use Thanksgiving, for instance.
Right.
Black folks, sweet potato pie.
Sweet potato pie.
You're going to want a pumpkin pie.
Actually, I'm going to want a sweet potato pie, but I'm different.
Okay, you understand?
So, I do understand the white culture wants the pumpkin pie, right?
The pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
But they might not have had a sweet potato. And I'm just using that as simple as possible.
Right.
So how can I say something that I don't like that I've not even taste a pumpkin pie?
Right.
And that's where we are. So I live on the west side of Kankakee, so those on the north side, the east side, if I don't collaborate, I automatically say, well, I disagree.
Right.
But at the same time, I have to understand that what happened on the north side impacts anybody even living on the east side of the county.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's one community, no matter what.
So you're talking about equity.
Yes.
Diversity.
Yep.
The Grow Center. So the Grow Center is about let's grow, come together, correct?
Yep.
In racism.
Yep.
And human mankind. And it's really simple, but we still have the forces that don't want black and white to come together.
Right.
And currently we have someone leading the nation that really is impeding those kind of relationships that has been impactful over the years. And as things erode, and I tell our youth council, and that's why I try to put as much time but resources with the youth council of the NAACP in Kankakee County. Those are our future leaders.
Yes.
But guess what the key is? They have to be educated about DEI.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be educated because Black history is American history.
It is,
So if
absolutely.
they don't know that, then we're not doing our job. At least provide them with that knowledge, or put it there for them.
Right.
And that's where we are. And I consider you a friend, because in an instance we're trying to do the same thing. And even with our criminal justice committee,
Mm-hmm.
we meet every other month with all law enforcement out at the sheriff complex, coming together to build a bridge between our respective communities and law enforcement.
Right.
And so we're doing some things in Kankakee County, and as I travel the state, I'm trying to also put those things that we have implemented here in elsewhere.
Yes.
And so it just make things better. That's
Yes,
all.
absolutely. You know, back you were saying about teaching our youth, young people, Black history. You know, when we first started doing what we were calling my piece in the puzzle for a minute there, and talking about historical patterns of anti-Black racism in the history of the United States, and we were covering history, 1619 forward, and so as we were doing that, we had a bunch of students our first go at this, that came from Olivet.
Okay.
And several of the students were Black students, and they didn't know the history, and neither did the white students, of course. And it was a reflection that Dr. Swilly and I had about we're losing. Yeah,
Swilly's the guy.
Yeah, he's my partner in the podcast and all
man.
that.
He's the man when it comes to the the DIE piece.
Yeah. So we were reflecting on where are we losing that, that we don't know the story. Well, because the system of white privilege, the system of white supremacy, has been putting that down more and more over the last several decades. We've seen the advantages from civil rights on, right? We've seen some good changes, and at the same time, we've seen education change again, and become more segregated than it was before. Even though we had Brown v. Board, and we said we can't segregate, etc. It's got to be equal. We're seeing communities move to the point that it's all white school districts.
Everything's going backward.
Yeah.
Well,
so that has changed, I think, where our youth are.
Well, as I look across the park, particularly at our youth council,
yes,
here's a young man that grew up with a mother and a father. But I tell people, I grew up in the segregated South, Jim Crow.
Yes.
So I'm serious. No one can tell me about Jim Crow.
Right.
No one can tell me about segregation. But let just give me a minute on it. Columbus, Georgia, is where I was born and pretty much raised before I moved to East Chicago, Indiana. I'm writing a book, and it starts with my upbringing. My mother's from Montgomery, Alabama.
Okay.
My father's from Tuskegee.
Okay.
What is the correlation between those two? Civil rights movement, Dr. King, but you got Booker T. Washington,
right.
George Washington Carver,
right.
there in Tuskegee. My youngest daughter went to Tuskegee. So here you have a person that grew up Columbus, Georgia, Jim Crow. Everybody that I saw every day was all Black. I lived in a Black segregated community.
Right.
But guess what? And last June, if I may, I met with a lot of my elementary classmates. And we were just sitting there having lunch, looking over the Challenger River into Phoenix City, Alabama. And we just started talking about, we thrived. The principal was a Black male, the cafeteria workers, all of the teachers, Savannah State, Alabama State, Albany, Fort Valley. So I knew at an early age that I was at least I was knowledgeable of collegiate life.
Right.
But also in Columbus, there was two other things you did. You either went to the military,
mm-hmm.
or you stayed home and worked. All right. But the other thing that I saw was everything was black owned.
Right.
Cafeteria, even the YWCA, everything, uh, black ownership of a cab company was black owned.
Right.
So the pride, and so I would say, man, we were poor and didn't know it because Mama could send you next door to Miss Sarah, get a cup of sugar, go next door, get a couple of flour, and we thrived.
You thrived. Right.
And all of my classmates who I was with last June, matter of fact, a year ago this month, either military, collegiate life, and they're back, still giving back to the community. So Columbus, Georgia to East Chicago, Indiana. So I moved from Jim Crow, went to East Chicago, where it's one of the most diverse communities over in Lake County, Indiana. And so I get to the high school, and now I saw diversity. So I got there, graduated, go to school in Tennessee, Jackson, Tennessee, historic black college, Lane College. Now I'm back in, everybody around me is black.
Right.
And so I've had the opportunity the Lord have put me in environments that help what I'm doing now, and that is you have to know about the civil rights movement, but you also have to know about fairness. You also have to understand you take a person at face value.
Right.
You know, you don't make assumptions that they're racist because you don't know.
That's right.
And so as I glean this park, I'm looking at all of the young people. So if I had anything to say, and my father, Willie Pace, every day, and some saying, you know, why did my father had me to do that? I could not be outside playing around, engaging interaction with my friends. I had to be in the house when he came in, and if he walked in and said, "What's 5 times 6?" I had to say 30.
Right.
60. I mean, that was you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so then, my mother being from Montgomery, I want to go back to the Black history, Rosa Parks.
Right.
And here you got a group of people where my mother family lived on Abbey Street. I still remember the street. On the summer, I would leave Columbus and spend the summer in Montgomery. And so I would get this whole wealth of knowledge about Black pride, Black history,
Right.
being in Montgomery. And you got, in Atlanta, you got Ebenezer. Then you got Dexter Avenue Baptist Church. You go there, we got Vacation Bible School, and you look around, and then they're talking about Rosa Parks. They're talking about all of this.
Yes.
And so I tell people, I'm a blessed man, and I'm something like, what's the guy, Bailey, in the movie in December.
George Bailey.
George Bailey.
Yep.
I'm George Bailey.
Okay.
I'm a rich man because somehow the Lord have blessed me with surrounding myself with friends, which makes me a rich man. And so being valued with that, it's again, it's about those relationships. So we have to continue to build on relationships as we fight for democracy.
Right.
The understanding of, and I just told our youth council, we're going to put together somehow resources. Our kids must go to Selma.
Yes.
They have to be able to follow the civil rights trail,
Right.
to get a clear understanding of why they can go to Bishop Mack, why they can go to Mantino, why
Right.
they can go to Kankakee High School, because all that started there.
That's
Or
right.
better, I mean, and
You got to
so
take them down to Memphis to the museum.
You got
Then
to take them to the museum.
You don't get all those, you're not at those places, but you get all those places, right?
And the reason I'm saying that, I have 5 grandboys and my granddaughter, and she go to school in Chicago. They had a civil rights trip planned last spring break, And somehow, some of the parents, I'm a little leery about going south. So they canceled the trip to go to Memphis. But I told my daughter, I said, no, what we're gonna do, we're gonna take spring break and we're gonna do the Civil Rights Trail. We're gonna go to Selma.
Right.
We're gonna go to Montgomery.
Right.
We're going to the house where Dr. King stayed in.
Yep.
Where and something else I tell you about. Everybody have to go to Mega Everest home
Absolutely.
in Jackson, Mississippi as
Right.
well. I've gone there.
Yeah.
Bullet hole is still, like in the wall.
Yeah.
So it's about history. And so why we are not currently agreeing with the current administration,
Right.
it's because of all of the work that other people that who we're standing on their shoulders,
Yeah.
that they have sacrificed. And so we cannot go back.
No.
And I'm just talking about black. I'm talking about all of the theme. We the people.
Yeah.
We're the people.
That's right.
And until when we understand that America is about the people and not somebody who want to be a king,
Right.
or so I don't want to get all into that, but it's about the relationships in Kankakee, and we have to be mindful that we live in Kankakee, and politics is what? Local.
It's local.
It's local.
And you got to be involved.
And you have to be involved. You, can't sit back and complain.
You got to vote.
You're not involved.
You got to vote, and you got to run for office if you need to.
Even with my schedule, I continue to try to give because I live here, and the only way that we're gonna improve on the quality of life is about collaboration,
Yes.
networking, and have a clear understanding, and then like that until justice is just that.
Yeah.
It is.
Right. We're not fighting for it anymore.
We're
It's
not
just
fighting
is.
for it.
Right.
And again, you appreciate things more when you work for it.
Yes.
You have to put some in to
Mhm.
get something out.
Yep.
And it's just that simple. And so I've coached Kankakee Eastside Junior Football League 46 years.
Yeah.
Everything I've done is about volunteering, giving back to the community. Again, I'm going to continue to stress this. It's about the quality of life.
Right. Yep.
Quality of life.
And without relationships, we don't have it.
We don't, and you don't have it because, so you got an issue. It's no different that I'm majoring in sociology,
Right.
and so you got this huge social grant. Oh, so I know this person. It's about a connection, and
Yep.
that's what Kankakee is. It
Yeah.
is a small community, and there's some advantages being in a community such as ours.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
Because we can do a lot. We can address any issue that we want, but I think we're almost coming to a time, from an NACP perspective, I think we're going to have to eventually go to the streets. We can do our podcast.
Yep.
We can do our press releases. We
Yep.
can do all that. But we the people, we are powerful. It's no different than if I got my hand spread versus if I make it a fist and I'm more stronger with the fist.
Right.
Because that means we're all together. And so what I mean by going to the street, I'm not talking about rabble rousing. I'm saying we have to make our voices heard.
Yep. Yeah, that collective power is so important. And,
Right. Black,
and-
white, and,
right.
and no,
And it's always been that way, and that's important for people to know. Selma was not all black.
what
The
the March on Washington.
The March on Washington. Those marches were integrated marches, and with allies, they're advocating with. I think that's so important, and I do think you're right, Theodis. I think that we're at the in your street almost moment, or already there, and when we see some of the events that have been happening, I know like the Indivisible Kankakee and things have been putting on some stuff. The attendance at those for Kankakee County has been pretty spectacular.
Here's the key. The reason DEI is so important. When we sit down and take time and converse, have that conversation, then we realize that, guess what? We got a lot in common.
Yeah,
But if you got that divide,
exactly.
You don't even get a chance to have that conversation.
You don't.
That, oh man, we got the same problem.
Right.
And guess what? We're better together.
Absolutely.
And that's who I am. But I'm honestly, the young people,
It's exciting.
and I'm not talking about a mob. I'm just talking about being knowledgeable
Yes.
of what you're fighting for.
That's right.
How can you articulate that?
Yep.
This is what I mean. Taxes is high. And I just heard somebody said gas prices is going back up. Why?
Yeah.
We was in a war that, I mean, come on, you and I, we didn't vote for it. We wouldn't have agreed for it.
No.
But it's our lawmakers, even on the on the local level.
Yep. That's where it starts.
If our lawmakers are not voicing our opinions, well then they're voting against things that doesn't impact us.
Right.
Okay, and I'm saying some of the simplest things.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've gone from affordable housing to attainable housing.
Yeah.
All right. What's the difference? Well, affordable housing is people, but attainable housing can be for anyone. And I'm one to say, if a person is paying $1,200 to $1,500 a month rent, they can own a house.
Right.
I mean, just simple things. But,
Right.
So, guess what we're doing? Financial literacy.
Right.
Okay. My dad did not talk to me about the Wall Street Journal. I didn't, but now my grandkids, my grandson, they are investing because, my son, now my grandson, and so we have to make people knowledgeable of financial literacy, as simple as just a monthly budget.
Right. Right.
A car.
Beginning there.
I mean, I'm serious. A car is not an investment. You need it to get from point A to point B.
Right.
But if you buy a new car, do you buy a new car or buy you a used car?
Yeah.
Well, the used car is depreciated.
Right.
I mean, simple pieces that we have to educate them. It looks good, or better yet, and is the Nikes.
Well, like even in that, I remember back in the middle 2000s when I was doing some organizing with National People's Action, and we had gone to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau that was starting out.
Uh-huh.
And one of the things we brought to them was on credit card statements, there was a minimum payment, and people would just pay the minimum payment, but they didn't realize what that was going to cost them long term. And so now if you get that statement, there's a box on there and it says if you pay the minimum payment, it's going to cost you this. If you pay just this much more, not even the whole balance, just this much more, you're going to save this much money. Well, that's because of that effort that took people in the streets and meeting with elected officials to say, look, you got to regulate this, to say you got to help people understand this. We took in policies and disclosure statements and said, what does this mean? And some of the regulators were like, we don't know. We'd have to get our lawyer to help us figure it out. So for the common consumer to know all that is hard. So financial literacy is extremely important.
You know what? I tell our youth council, it's the same thing. Health disparity is a civil rights issue.
Yes.
It's a human right.
Yes.
Financial literacy is a must. And I don't know, are we really doing it too much in high school? But I'm just old school. I've challenged our youth council advisor with the simplest thing of, guess what? Adequacy. I mean, how to use a fork and a knife.
Right.
It's old school.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, sir. No, ma'am. Do you have dinner with your hat?
Right.
Young lady, do you pull the chair out?
Yeah.
And if so, if we go back and the way I look at that, if it was good for you and I, why not transfer this? But you have to add a old school or new school flavor to it for them to understand.
Right.
The simple thing, but financial literacy, health, diversity, inclusion. What does that mean to you?
Right.
But then, but equity.
Yes. Yes. That balance that we find.
And so if we don't educate them, but then we lose.
That's right.
I'm serious.
Got to do it. Yes, I agree.
And so I don't put anything on it, but from a black perspective, we're some proud people, and sometimes we have, I would say, we all would lose our way because discipline is a key, perception is a key.
Mhm.
So how do you cut down on the negative perspective? Okay, how somebody perceive you?
Right.
Guess what? It's about how you carry yourself.
Hmm. It matters.
Yeah, I'm clearly understand. And don't get me wrong, but I was in a position one day, and I just had to tell a person after 8 or 9 months, if you're doing the right things, you're doing the right thing. But somewhere, you might have to say, well, you know what? Sometimes you got to get in the pig pen,
Hmm.
meaning you got to get dirty. And that's what same thing with this. We the people. We the people have to get back to the street. That's how we did it. March on Washington, Million Man March,
Yep.
the march from Selma. I mean, for the kids to see from Selma crossing the bridge, and if you see the movie King, then you got to say, oh man, this is where he was halfway across the bridge, and he had to rethink it.
Yep.
Oh, there's the state troopers.
What do I do?
So let me go back and pray.
Yep.
And then we still end up with bloody center.
Still ended up with it. Yep.
You know,
Well, and then the journey from Selma all the way over to Montgomery, that wasn't any little feat. I mean, that when there was a lot that happened on the way
I've
there.
been there 4 times.
Yeah.
And
you know,
not walking, but and coming back out or going, then you see the monument of Miss Viola Russo.
Yes. Yes.
There. And I mean, it's history.
Yep.
And we are in the same spot where we are years ago now.
We are.
And we're fighting for democracy. So I think people have to understand. So what is really democracy? We talk about it, but it's about the Constitution. And the rights.
Yep.
We all have equal rights. And if we don't understand that, and is it a dictatorship? And again, I don't want to get into that, but today is Juneteenth, and yesterday, but
Yes.
today here we're celebrating. But how do we celebrate? And we have to celebrate before 1863, going back to the Emancipation Proclamation, the signing with President Lincoln.
Yes.
Then the folks there in Texas still working.
Right. Yep.
So what is it? Knowledge is what?
Knowledge is power.
Power.
Absolutely.
And that's where we are now.
Yeah.
We have to know.
But we have to tell the story.
We have to tell the story. So guess what? The Growth Center, the NACP Kankakee County, the national body, our state branches, and across. So we have to have a clear understanding of how do we collaborate. But
Right.
we're doing the same work.
Yes.
Same work. And sometimes if we don't understand that, because I want to make it as simple as possible, eliminating racism empower women. So we go back to affirmative action.
Yep.
You see that?
Yep. Yeah, it's not hard.
It's not hard.
It's not.
So the social ground, everything connects.
Yep.
Meaning that we are doing the same thing, and in an indirect way, people, white, black, brown, green, are being impacted.
Yes.
If we, the people, don't speak up because we have that voice.
Right. Right.
And so, so I'm going to get into history for a minute. From my own perspective, I was thinking Dr. King was beginning to change. And, he was getting ready. I think he was getting in that radical mode.
A little more.
A little more.
A little more.
And sometimes I think folks don't clearly understand that.
Yeah.
Because again, how many times can you slap me
That's
and I
right.
turn the cheek?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, they had so many experiences, and it was, you know,
And you know what, I like people to just look at some of Dr. King clips, some of his quotes. It's tied together.
yes,
Black, white, the movement. And so, born in Georgia, go to college in Tennessee, and let's what's well, Georgia's a little different because the economy of just the area of Atlanta, Georgia, encompass the whole state. Look it up.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
whole state of Mississippi.
yeah,
So Coca-Cola. So well, hold on. We're not gonna get caught up in all these social issues because if not, we're gonna relocate headquarters. So Georgia's there, okay? But now we in Tennessee, and they just carving everybody out from meaning no black representation.
yeah,
Clearly wrong.
right, right.
So we're going backwards.
We are. Yeah, when you watch what's happened with gerrymandering again and so forth, yeah, we're
Yeah.
taking districts away. It's
So I made a comment about 2 weeks ago. We have to go to Mississippi. We got to go to Louisiana. We got to go to Tennessee. And if we can't go there, we have to send monies there to help those people. But they, from an NACP perspective, they clearly understand their fight because they're still fighting for things that we should do, even here in the state of Illinois. But guess what? We have gerrymandering here.
oh yeah, yeah, it's everywhere.
Think about it.
Yeah, I know we do. Yeah, so it can go both ways, I guess. But
Both ways.
yeah,
But I enjoy dialogues such as this because I don't know if we out on the airways, somebody's gonna
not
see
yet, but later.
you know, but it's something that spark an interest.
Yes,
And if you can spark that interest, well, I didn't think about that. I really didn't know what was going on with the Growth Center. I didn't
Right.
know what the NACP does.
right.
But you know, the NACP 109 years old. I'm
That's right.
117 years. I'm saying.
Started right
You know,
here in Illinois,
Yeah, 19
Springfield, Illinois.
1908 with
Yep.
the race ride.
Yep.
And so the founders chose to impact the inception of the NACP on February 12th, 1909,
Yep.
the
Yep.
birthday of the great emancipator.
You know what? It's my birthday too.
Oh man! Oh, good. Well, happy birthday! You got a significant birthday.
It's a fun one to have.
You know, and then use the word significant. Juneteenth.
Yep.
It's not really. It's a historic piece of freedom.
Yes.
I'm free, but I didn't know it because I was still enslaved.
Right.
Knowledge,
It is.
Power.
Yeah. Right.
people.
Yeah. When they didn't have the knowledge, other people had power over them. That's right.
And that's where we're now. And look, just scan the part. All this power, and it's the only difference is we're in a blue state. But
Right now.
but then guess what? There's still things you and I can sit down and you know those old days you grab the legal pad and
Yep.
you draw it down the pros and cons. We can sit down and look at the pros and cons and end up what are the things that we need to address with our lawmakers
Right.
here locally.
Right now. Yep. Absolutely.
Right? It just the thing that keeps us afloat is the relationship.
That's right.
And I tell my colleagues throughout the state, if you don't know a Jim Rowe, meaning you need to know your state's attorney.
Right.
If you don't know your Mike Downey, your sheriff in your respective county.
Right.
If you don't know your respective school superintendents.
Right.
Those are the police chief. You have to build those relationships.
That's right.
And then that relationship brings understanding,
Right.
communication. That's the key.
Well, and part of relationships is holding each other accountable.
There you go.
If what you're doing or your decisions are impacting my community in an adverse way, then if I have the relationship, I got to be able to come to you and say, listen, sheriff, listen, mayor, listen, city council person, I need this change because it's impacting my community negatively. And if you built that relationship, you have the opportunity for that change to actually happen.
So now think about it. Here's a person. I've been here 53 years.
Yeah.
January, February of 1973 to now of 2026. There's been some significant changes from 73 to now.
Oh, sure. Sure.
Democrats, Republicans have some form of understanding at the city council.
Right.
You can go and have a conversation with your county board chairman. The relationship, the dialogue. So there has been the improvement along those lines, because back then we had a significant, and I'm just being a strong Republican Party back then. Now it's at least the understanding or a dialogue between even the two parties, particularly city council,
Right.
And the things that the Bourbonnais, the Bradleys, even having the relationship with law enforcement in Mantino or Grant Park or Moments. Though, so we see an improvement, but is there more? Yeah. It's always room for improvement.
Right.
But it's always a starting point that we can start and improve on. But so I'm sitting here, so we got to figure out how we can collaborate more.
I'm thinking that too. We do. That's something we need to see. We have some more conversations about that.
We're going to have to do that.
Yeah.
So, I really want you to interview our youth council advisor, Miss Veronica Irish.
Yeah.
She's doing some great things with our youth, coming up with some creative activities. The NACP 117th National Convention is in Chicago.
Yes.
It has not been back here since 1994. So from July 18th through the 22nd, well, actually myself from July 15th through the 22nd. But we're going to have our youth up representing. They'll get a chance to see our national leadership, our board. They'll be able to see people from across the nation. And then at AXO, they'll be able to see the brightest are young people from across the nation at our AXO activities. So
awesome.
It's a great time.
That is great.
And again, we have to put our young folks in a position where there's knowledge and resources where they can thrive.
Yes.
And that is the young man here on that soundboard. Want to applaud him. Look, he know what he's doing over there.
He thinks he does.
Oh, really? Oh. That's a good one.
He's my son, so I can do that.
So well, he knows what's going on there.
Right.
I'm checking it.
Yeah, he didn't have a choice.
Is that right? Yeah.
He's a preacher's kid.
Man. And so it's nothing wrong with being a PK kid.
That's right.
You do know that, right? Your dad and I go back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Before he got really busy. Hey, you got to make an appointment with him now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but those are the things that, again, it's about relationship. But here's the key. So I'm going to challenge you.
Okay.
We can do all of the things that we can do to impact our community. But guess what? If the faith-based community is not part of this, we lose.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely.
That was a challenge.
Yep.
Now, I know we've been together. We did some marchings and parades, but and that's the apathy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And COVID, might have impacted us.
Yeah.
But Dr. King and with the NACP, most of all of our meetings were held in the Black church.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
That was the foundation. I would say 90% of NACP meetings were held in a Black church.
Yep.
And so we have to find a way to get back. And I'm not going to say civil rights, but we got to get back to human and civil rights.
We do.
Human rights, civil rights.
Human rights and civil rights. And the movement. We have to get the movement. I mean, the movement I don't think is ever gone, but it slows down here and there. Well, it ain't time for it to slow down. That's for sure.
But if nobody understands what's the significance of the midterm election,
this is a moment for sure, pivotal.
And I'm gonna be as candid as possible. Once we cross the Mason-Dixon line, they understand.
Yeah.
The question is, how do we bring that understanding here
Right.
to the Wisconsin, to the Illinois, to the Indianas,
Yes.
even with them being the red states, but the understanding of what we're up against.
Right.
I mean, just look and see what happened in Georgia.
Yeah.
Again, where I'm from, this past Thursday was the election of a black mayor in Georgia with what's all going on. Alabama, okay? And I'm sure you've heard Out of Bounds with our president, CEO, Derek Johnson,
Right.
is asking about black athletes to rethink where they want to go to college.
Right.
You know, I mean, I've had some very interesting conversation that he's not saying. I mean, if you go to Alabama, if you that good to go to Alabama, you can go to Ohio State. If you're that good, you can go to University of Illinois. Okay. So
Right.
why are you going somewhere where they're cutting back on black representation?
Across the
Meaning,
board.
no matter how we play with the words, it's racist.
Yep.
It's about racism.
Right. That's how you perpetuate it.
And so I'm still trying to figure out, and I'm being as serious as possible. When I go back and I was telling you about my classmates, and we would see the color and the black water fountains. And now you go back to Columbus. I mean, you going into restaurants, and you only did that because what did Dr. King? It wasn't about my character. It was the color of my skin tone.
Right.
So you didn't even know me. We're going
Right.
back to what we talked about earlier.
But
you
you
don't
had to
even
go-
you
you
know
had to go
nothing
to-
about my character.
Right. But you had
It's
to
just that-
enter the restaurant in a different place, eat in a different room, all those things.
right. But I can cook for you.
Yeah. Right.
And
Clean up your mess. Right. Yeah. So we don't want to go back there.
we don't want to go back there.
We don't want to go back there, and we have made some moves, and they're good moves. The movement's got to move on. We got to
So-
move on.
So I mean, in this, we are the people.
Yes.
And if we the people all come together, white, black, green, and I'm same thing with Dr. King. So, or better yet, Dr. Jackson, Jesse Jackson.
Right.
We rainbow.
Yep.
We can go back and we don't have to recreate it. It's still here.
It's still here.
We just have to mobilize.
Mobilize is a good word. Yeah.
Mobilize.
Yeah.
So
Mobilize.
anyway, hey, enjoy.
Hey, thank you so much,
Thank you,
Theodis.
sir. Always.
It's good
always.
to have the conversation.
Thank you.
Thanks
So
for
I
stopping
need
by.
to get that engineer there and
Yeah,
see
right.
if I can have him to hook up all this equipment with our podcast.
Yeah, it's important. We got to get, because that gets the youth voices out.
I do that.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you,
Sounds
sir.
good.
Appreciate it.
Yep.